So, today's video, we are checking out some Twitter stories again. I saw some titles, not the actual stories, but I saw some titles and was like, I'll bookmark those for later. So, have you ever been financially abused before? I'm pretty sure I am being financially abused, but my boyfriend keeps saying that's not a thing. It is a thing. Here are just a few examples of what happens. 1. We live separately. When he goes grocery shopping or buys stuff for his house, he expects me to pay 50% of his bills, since we hang out at his house maybe 3 to 4 times a month. No. He never offered to pay for stuff at my apartment. Yeah, no, that only works if it goes both ways, and it's not going both ways. So no. He's never offered to pay for stuff at my apartment, even when he goes overboard helping himself to expensive stuff from my pantry. Of course he does. 2. I am starting a new job that is a medium good paying job. Would be better, but I have a lot of loans to pay back. And he won't shut up about how he's so excited for me to buy him stuff. Who's the princess in this relationship? This is weird. Why is he like this? He doesn't think we should do things 50-50 because I'll be making slightly more than him. Look, I will say, I think I've said this before, I've always felt guilty about when guys want to go 50-50 on first dates or on dates in general, or like pay for things and stuff, because majority of the time when I've gone on dates with people, I tend to have a higher salary than they do. Because of that, I always feel guilty when they pay, when I've got more disposable income than they do. However, when someone just expects me to pay, that pisses me off. But like when they're like, oh, do you know what, I'll pay for this one, you can pay for the next one. Like, that's fine. But the fact that he's excited that you'll buy him stuff is, no, that's so toxic. He doesn't think we should do things 50-50 because I'll be making slightly more than him. Meanwhile, when I have been unemployed, he expects me to figure it out and still pay for minimum half of everything, even stuff I don't want. He's ridiculous.
By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
3. He insists on driving my car everywhere so he can save gas on his truck. What? He has offered to chip in for gas for me once in 2 years of dating, but he's driving your car constantly. This guy is a cheapskate. He reminds me of those like extreme cheapskates. 4. When we talk about the future, he keeps saying how he can't wait for me to move in so I can pay his mortgage.
Run.
Run, honey, please run. Please run as far as you can. This guy is awful. Have higher standards, please. I asked if we got married if I could own half the house since he expects me to pay the full mortgage. He says no, of course not. It will always be his house and I should be lucky to marry a man who... No one is lucky to marry that man. My insides are telling me to run. Yes, I am already in therapy. Yeah, please. Run as fast as you can. He's a user. Don't walk, run. Yeah, totally. Don't think of it as breaking up with him. Think of it as saving money! This man is looking for a sugar mama, not a wife. Yeah, literally. He's not treating her like a partner, he's treating her like a doormat. Get out, save your money and your heart. Just get out now. Okay, what he left me for this morning on the kitchen table. Oh my god, what? What? Oh, I remember seeing this and getting so mad. I only saw like a snippet of this, but the little bit I saw, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm really sorry for these people who are going through this stuff, but oh my god, is it entertaining to like read? I watch a lot of like Reddit reactions. You can always tell what I'm watching because that tends to be what my content is about. Okay, so we've been married for 20 years. In 2022, he asked me to quit my job as a nurse. Admittedly, I was burnt out, so I could focus 1, on losing weight and getting healthy, and 2, our sex life intimacy. To be fair, I'd gained weight, 50 pounds, since COVID due to both work and marital stress. I wanted to lose some weight for my health. I have lost weight, 40 pounds, but I'm not working out with a personal trainer like he wants me to, and he doesn't think I'm committed enough to lose weight. Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, it's really hard to lose weight. Unless you are properly dedicated, it is so difficult. I swear I just gain weight constantly. As for my job, I've been wanting to go back to work for the past year, but he doesn't want me to and gets angry when I discuss it. Red flag. He likes me being at home, he says, but he holds my lack of income over my head. No, this is again financial abuse. No. And says I'm not meeting my end of the obligation. He says I don't need to work because he makes enough for the household. He makes more than 2 times what I did. If I don't meet his sexual requirements, then I'm not making any contribution and he's losing income because I'm not working. I can't win. Run the fuck away from this man. This guy is emotionally abusive. Oh my god, that is guilt-tripping behaviour. The request. For nearly 20 years, I've asked you to accept some facts about me and my male sexuality. 1. Sexual consistency. Sorry, my eyes just rolled really far back in my head. Especially, I imagine he doesn't bring that much sexual satisfaction to the fucking relationship for her. Just, you know. Because men like this, all they're interested in is in their own sexual gratification, not the other person's. Because they don't really like women, they're just attracted to women. Maslow's hierarchy places sex as a basic, ongoing psychological need, alongside food and breathing. Okay, so wank. You are not entitled to having sex with your partner if they are not in the fucking mood. Especially if you're treating them like shit, they're not going to want to be in the mood. Funny that. My ex had to fucking find that out the hard way. That when he was constantly treating me like shit and then I didn't want to have sex. Oh, funny that. There is well-researched, documented evolutionary need for sexual variety among social male. Okay, so leave your wife and go fuck around then. But if you did not agree to a polyamorous relationship, that's not her problem. That's a you wanting to cheat problem. And I guarantee he's over-evaluating his sexual prowess. The investment. Like, what the fuck is this? This aspect of my life is so important that I've continued to make significant investments in it and you. This is so toxic. For 27 months, you've been relieved of the responsibility of working outside the home. The monetary value of this investment is large in lost wages alone. The way he's talking to his wife like she is an employee is disgusting. This has already cost us $119,000. Well, she could have just stayed working. That was your fucking fault. At conservative rates of return, this means we have already lost... Are you serious? Conservative rate of return? We have already lost over $461,000 that would have been available at your retirement and $1.7 million at your death. What the fuck? This is disgusting. This amount uses conservative assumptions and doesn't factor in any of the additional costs we've incurred over the past 2 years. The cost of the past 27 months easily exceeds $2 million in lifetime value. The return of the investment. Number 1, has there been a significant and positive improvement in the consistency of our sexual activities? No. 2, has there been significant and positive improvement in the variety of our sexual activities? No. I hope her request after this was a fucking divorce. Because, oh my god, I'm struggling to read this. This is making me angry. Like, I'm surprised Steve is not coming out of my ears. Another week of total failure. Last weekend, we had another long discussion and you gave another full commitment to make improvements this week. There was absolutely no creativity, thought, or effort put into helping me navigate my trip. I had to send a text to ask for you to give me a thought for masturbation purposes. Just watch porn! When I got home, there was no sexual activity on Wednesday or Thursday night. Yeah, because she probably doesn't want to have sex with someone who's like this! There was no communication at all on Wednesday or Thursday night about weekend plans or activities. The request in defeat, yet again. For yet another week, you've made it abruptly clear that you do not care about making any of this work. How do we move forward together in a loving, caring way? This is not loving or caring in any fucking way. This sounds like a fucking gaslighting contract to make your partner have sex with you, which is coerced consent, which is fucking rape. Jesus Christ. And the fact that there's a graph. There's a graph. There's a fucking graph. What is this? She should respond with a presentation of her own request, a divorce. So I'd beat me to it. Listen, I don't know much about women, but one thing I do know is that nothing gets them ready to be intimate more than an highlights memorandum highlighting how they might better please their partner. Literally! This is doing the opposite of what he... Maybe if you're thoughtful, maybe if you're kind, maybe if you're understanding, your partner will want to have fucking sex with you. Not this shit! Also, what the fuck is he bringing to the relationship but a wage? He's angling for divorce and doesn't have the guts to file it himself. The gaslighting here is beyond ridiculous. Seriously. Fucking leave him. Seriously, this is both engaging and terrifying. Who would want to shag such a controlling, weird, demanding and entitled prick? He's not treating her like a person but a service provider. He's treating her as if she is a fucking doll. Just get a blow-up doll if you're that bothered about it. Just get a blow-up doll. It's much easier. The person doesn't have feelings. Although, have you seen that there is like sex androids or whatever now? And they are already being literally abused. Like, what is wrong with humanity? I can't say what I hope happens to him. He's an actual psychopath. Yeah. So, am I the asshole for keeping the promise I made my kids at the expense of my stepdaughter? I, 43 female, have 2 children, Sarah, 17 female, and Aidan, 15 female. Aidan is actually the name I was going to give a boy if I ever had gotten pregnant when I was younger, when I actually wanted kids. 9 years ago, my late husband passed away in a fatal car crash. I was devastated. I was afraid for my kids to grow up without a father, and I was afraid to be alone. Luckily, my family stepped up, and my brother-in-law acted as a surrogate father for my kids. My sister and brother-in-law do not have kids of their own, but were happy to help us out. 5 years ago, I met my now husband, 47 male, and his daughter, Elizabeth, 17 female, at a friend's housewarming party. I was hesitant to date again, but I took things slow, making sure he was a good man to be around my kids. I discussed my kids' feelings with them along every important milestone and made sure they were comfortable with my husband and stepdaughter. When he proposed and I spoke to my kids about how they felt, only one request, the promise, was made. I would make sure that my kids and I had time together, just the 3 of us still. I agreed to take my children out twice a month, just the 3 of us with exceptions, if need be. As my kids remember their father and Elizabeth's mum was still in my life, we had made a rule that neither of us would try to be parents to our stepkids. We are responsible for our bio kids. This was discussed with all the children together. Our kids are also allowed to choose how they feel about one another, whether or not they wish for a sibling relationship or something. It's not up for my husband and I to decide. Back to present time. I still regularly take my kids out twice a month for an adventure with the 3 of us. This could be going out to dinner, a movie, the zoo. I also take Elizabeth with me for some things, such as getting our nails done, shopping, volunteering. Sometimes my kids will come along as well. My husband and I are still responsible for our own kids. We parent them differently, but that's what is causing the problems. We are each in charge of grades, party planning, rewards, punishments, special parent-child time, chore lists, curfews, rules. The issue is, I am far more active in my kids' lives than my husband is. I regularly celebrate my children, go to all their events, keep on top of their grades. I know where my kids are, I listen to their concerns, and I speak about their lives. Isn't that like a normal thing though? Like husbands seem to be very, I know this is like a step-husband, like a stepfather to them, but like they tend to be very removed from their children's lives to the point where like people have been interviewed and their biological, like the dad doesn't even know their biological child's date of birth.
When is your son's birthday?
It is the 21st of July, 2008.
Drew?
No.
Does your son have any allergies?
Not that I know of. You do.
Penicillin.
Names of your daughter's teachers.
Miss Lorraine and Mosquito for Hazel.
Is that true?
So I'm not honestly surprised. My husband doesn't do things for my stepdaughter. I think I underestimated how much this is creating tension between our kids. Oh, okay. Elizabeth and Aidan don't interact with one another. Elizabeth and Sarah absolutely despise one another. Sarah and Aidan are best friends. My husband came to me yesterday and said we needed to talk about how Sarah and Aidan, mostly Sarah, treat Elizabeth. They're not required to like each other. You literally had that conversation at the start. He pointed out several instances of exclusionary behaviour, such as Sarah driving Aidan around but not Elizabeth. She is not a taxi. She doesn't have to drive anyone she doesn't want to. Sarah and Aidan deciding to have 2 bedrooms across the house from Sarah. Originally Aidan and Elizabeth would have had them. They like each other more and it makes more sense. Creates less tension, if anything. Sarah not inviting Elizabeth on her birthday trip to Cedar Point despite them having the same friend group. That's a little difficult, but like, it's her birthday. It's her choice. Sarah spending money buying Aidan gifts, but not Elizabeth. Her money, she gets to spend it how she wants. Aidan refusing to allow Elizabeth to use his technology. Again, if it's his technology, why the fuck? Like, I get it would be maybe seen as like bullying, but if these people don't like each other, they don't have to share these things. Sarah and Aidan only doing things Elizabeth doesn't enjoy while at home, or stopping when Elizabeth wants to join. That's a little exclusionary. Aidan refusing to cook for Elizabeth. How old is Elizabeth? Sarah buying all 3 of them locks for their bedroom doors, which my husband claims was only to make it look like Sarah did something nice for Elizabeth. My husband claimed that I was the cause of this problem by setting the example of excluding Elizabeth with the promise I made to No, he demands I stop the practice and start to treat Elizabeth like my own kid. I said no, as that is not part of our agreement. Elizabeth isn't the one asking me. He isn't willing to step up and act as a father. Literally, that is the problem. Is that Elizabeth feels like she is being mistreated because she has nobody who is in her fucking corner. So that's his fault, not hers. He needs to step up. He isn't willing to step up, act as a father to my kids, and my children come first. I will always make them feel valued. I'm the only one who ever plans anything for the kids. Since we bought a house together, he only planned birthday parties for Elizabeth, nothing else. I could tell he wasn't doing shit for her. He doesn't plan family trips, dinners, celebratory celebrate events, none of that. I know he won't put in any effort for my kids as he barely does for his own. When I've brought this up to him in the past, he said it's not my problem and reminds me of our agreement. Oh, and since I didn't add it in, I'm going to speak to both of my kids separately and then together to get to the bottom of their behaviour. So am I the asshole for refusing to break the promise to my kids? No, you're being a parent. You're doing what's right for your children. Isn't Elizabeth 18 now? This means she can leave and should. This is so toxic. Whether it's a college or a job or trade school, full scholarship. I did not have a good relationship with my mother, moved across the country 2 months after graduating high school. Both parents just failed from get-go, in my opinion. You live in the same house, you're a family now. Nobody should be excluded ever on either side. Both adults should take care of 3 children. Yeah, no, you are right. I don't have kids, so I think it shows. She fulfilled her promise for as long as she could. Now they need to have a family meeting to hash it out. Rules can change over time. This is true. Yes, women, you're the asshole. One never ever has different rules for kids in the family. Your husband and you should have agreed on a set of rules and updated them as you grew together as a family. Now you're alienating a child. Is she alienating a child though? Because she is spending time with Elizabeth. It's just that I thought she was just spending extra time with her biological children. But then I guess, yeah, if you get married together, then that's your child too, so you shouldn't really exclude them. I don't know, I can see both sides. I definitely think like Elizabeth playing up the fact that, you know, they weren't spending money on her or buying her gifts and like taking her on rides and stuff, like forcing them to do that would make them hate her more, you know, and allow the children to bully and disrespect one another. Yep, you're the asshole and you should go to family therapy or simply formally split up into 2 families you currently are in denial you live in. Oh my god, I didn't even clock that. Yeah, making sure he was a good dad to be around my kid. Has he always been a shitty dad to all the kids? Or is this a recent development? I vote always shitty. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, I don't think she's the asshole for keeping the promise she made, but I think it's not acceptable to treat Elizabeth this way. Both her dad and the stepmom failed her. They should be a family, but it seems like they treat her like an outsider. Yeah, it's not really fair on her. But like I said, I think that's because, yeah, and literally her next sentence, dad should step up big time. The dad isn't stepping up. That's the problem. That is 100% the problem. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with the promise and the 2 times a month that she sets aside for her kids. However, when you marry someone with kids, you become a parent, period. What they tried to set up is impractical and resulted in some really bad behaviour towards Elizabeth. That's so funny because I completely agree, but it's so funny because when I originally heard that, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. This sounds really like healthy, having all of them agree to the rules rather than just telling them the rules and then they're hating them for it. Everyone agreeing to everything sounded like a good collaboration. But seriously, clearly, what the fuck do I know? We're going to finish on this one because this kind of feeds into a lot of what's going on right now. Women are too safe in our society. Yeah, someone seriously wrote that. I'm talking about women that live in Western countries. These women are too protected. Recently, the police said I sent concerning stalkerish messages to a female co-worker ex-friend when all I was trying to do was get an explanation for why she abandoned me like trash. I was so nice and friendly, but they just ditched me. Honey, people can block you for no reason. If someone cuts you out of their life or blocks you or something, leave them the fuck alone. I was a good friend. In my society where women had less protection, she would think twice about reporting me and giving me the cold shoulder. I told my therapists, plural, in the mental hospital about how I felt about her, and all they did was try to get an order of protection instead of helping me work through my feelings. Yeah, they need to protect that woman. I think there's a reason why he's in a mental institution. I was the one that was hurt, but all they could think about was keeping her safe. Well, yeah, you sound like one step away from killing her. There was also this one time where they locked me in my room because I said I had urges toward one of the female patients. I wasn't really going to hurt anyone, but no, women's safety always comes first. When I'm in danger, nobody cares, but the moment a woman is in danger, everyone does everything in their power to stop it. They fucking don't. Never mentions the danger he was in. Yeah, literally, what danger? Whoever is involved in this man's care needs to make that psych hold indefinite. Seriously. Okay, anyway. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave us a like and subscribe if you like it. I'd really appreciate it. I'm trying to post at least once a week. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye!